The number one topic that was out there. The individual that really wanted it to pass, I say one of the individuals, Norm Adams, he's a big insurance man from Houston, and he's sitting there next to that cooler. He's not the man standing, but the man with the hat sitting next to the cooler. He supplied us lunch and gave us his cards and lobbied for his cause. And in the end, well, I'm going to show you a little video if it'll come up here. Let's see, there it goes. This is the room. This was the final meeting before the platform went to the floor. All these people are there mainly because of the immigration. The fire marshal had to make them stand out in the hall. They never had so many people. First time that they had to make people stand out in the hall. They never had so many people come and lobby as they did for the immigration issue. So it was a very hotly contested thing. The Texas solution went to a vote before we took it to the floor. We had made some changes. I had spent hours upon hours with the Hispanic members of our committee trying to work things out. We had a little bit of change to the Texas solution, but it was not as strong as it could have been or should have been. We had a vote on it, and the Texas solution essentially passed with a little caveat that the border sealed first before anything else took place. They left off a lot of things about sanctuary city, E-Verify, lots of strong language that they left off. When that happened, we filed a minority report. These two individuals, the young lady, that Susan Fletcher there, and the young man, I say young, he's younger than me, with the long hair, we spent the night before in the hotel room writing the minority report for fear that the Texas solution would pass. When you do a minority report, that means that it is introduced on the floor for people to vote on. So we had to have 9 signatures on it. We had our required, we had 13 signatures on it. So we were able to present that to the delegates on the floor of the convention to see if it passed. Well, we went to the floor of the convention. The Texas solution was passed. They got into debates. The Texas solution was one of the first up, and it was before lunch, and it was a hotly contested debate. We wanted to do the minority report, and it wasn't introduced. They said, well, it's 1:30, let's break for lunch. When they broke for lunch, all the Republican women's clubs and the country club Republicans said, we got to get home, so they left. You don't do that when you got a bunch of fired up grassroots people, because when they left and we came back at lunch, the minority report got put out there and overwhelmingly got passed. And it is as strong as could possibly be, with E-Verify, with sanctuary city language, with real strong language. So we accomplished that. I was proud to be part of that minority report that got that deal done. Yes,
what about the Peter Bontura? What was his part in that?
He's the one. Okay, let me explain this to you. I was on the minority report. It got bogged down in the process, and they were introducing different resolutions to replace the Texas solution. The one that Joanne and some of the grassroots people was not presented, and they said, we're going to let one more person present, and then we're going to shut off debate. Well, that kind of left us in the dry. Well, the guy whose language is in there presented essentially the minority report with the strong points from the minority report as well as the strong points from the Texas solution. And when he did that, we jumped on it, got it passed. So it wasn't the exact minority report that we filed, but it had all our language plus a little bit. So anyway, he was from the Houston area, if I'm not mistaken. But it was a good thing. I'm going to go on to the next deal. I don't even know what's on the next slide. But I do want to say this about being put on the educational committee. I studied all those things that were submitted to the educational committee. One of them in particular was a lot of people from across the state asked that the Bible be taught in our classrooms. That the Bible be taught in our classrooms. I couldn't go for that. And the reason I couldn't go for that, because if you state the Bible will be taught in the classroom, that opens it up to the Quran and every other religious organization that there is. It opens it wide open. I studied it and said, and prayed about it and said, how can I interject that into a platform? And understand this is just a platform, suggestion to our elected officials that this is what we want as a state law. But it is strong because it comes out of the party. There was a plank that stated that schools should not discourage the study of our founding documents in relationship to the Christian values that were involved in those documents. I added to that with those studies, that the basis for those for the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence is the Bible, and that it be used, and it passed. So we got that put in the platform that the Bible is, and that way the Quran, I don't know if the Quran had anything to do with our founding documents, even though the president thinks so. So anyway, we snuck that in. We snuck that in, and I was proud to get in there. And like I said, I think it was a God thing, because I think a lot of you know, and if you hadn't seen the little clip, I lobbied our local school board here in Van, and I'm going to try to go to Brownsboro. I'm going to try to go to Wheels Point, the rest of them, in relationship to implementing the 5,000-year leap as a addendum to their history classes. And I got a positive response from the Van School Board. I'm going to follow up on that. I had at least 3 of them that said, hey, we're going to encourage that it be taught. If you hadn't read the 5,000-year leap, you need to. And you'll understand why I'm passionate about that. Okay. I'm trying to think what the next one. Oh, I think it's about that's what it's about. Juneteenth. How many went to the Juneteenth?